good evening, and welcome to the Franchise Tag Fantasy Show. With me, your host, Freddie Hall. I will not be doing that many as of next week when Andrew is returning from his honeymoon, and also the fact as well of it's slowly becoming more and more apparent. Byron and Tinch, welcome back again, the regulars of the Fantasy Show. But do I know nothing about fantasy football? Because
I was about to say I wanted to come out and just straight out of the gate and say to all the viewers and listeners that really you have no right to be on this show because you are the Sacco and your team is shit. I'd like to a spectacular standard from you. This is bad for you, Fred. This year.
This is bad for me, and I'm gonna be throwing out some very a lot of aggression later on when we talk about some of the things in this league. But I mean, I'm 1-4. Byron, I was like in such a miserable mood on the main show, wasn't I? I mean, after the Bills Steelers game, which we watched at a bus stop together on the way home,
yes,
and the first play being that fucking bomb to Gabe Davis, and then the Steelers getting rinsed, my team getting rinsed, like. I don't know what it is at the minute.
You know what it could be, Fred? It could be that the Titans of this league, you know, yourself, given your past, and me, given my past, you know, we're not doing too great this season. Maybe it's just one of those. Maybe we take the high road and claim that we did it to let other people have a chance because, you know.
I feel like that'd be good if you hadn't just said maybe we should claim the high road. You've just given your game away.
No one watches this, mate. They won't know. It's fine.
Nobody will know.
Well, I promise the viewers we will talk about some fantasy football at some point, but I got to air some grievances out. Right. For years,
let Fred have his run.
For years in this league, I've like looked around and like along with other guys in this league, and we've joked about it together and gone like, I'm really glad he's losing, really glad I hope he doesn't win. And then it like became apparent like a year ago where I said something about, you know, who do you least want to win every week? And all of you said me. And I didn't realize that was like a thing, but you all get together and you connive and you scheme against me. And
I don't think it's so much that.
Well, no, you're just letting me to my own ruin this year.
Yeah, but it's your previous years. It's just been your sheer cockiness. Like out of everyone, you are the guy. If you're playing that guy, who's just hammering the text through, like giving it all the shit. Just when you know you're gonna win, and you fucking give it to Barry, all the big uns when you win as well. So it does give us all that feeling like, you know, fuck Freddie, man. Like I don't want this guy to win. But like now you are actually doing so shit. I feel a little bit sorry for you. Like I've never seen you at the bottom, and I've never seen you so sad.
Well, I also think there's something you're all colluding again with me because we've all been joking about having crap trades.
Crap trades, the trade rate king. What?
Yeah, he's been doing some bad
the trade attempted rape king.
Sorry, yes, the trade. He's only achieved one.
Can you be convicted if it's attempted?
I think you can.
Yeah. Well, no, because he's succeeded in one already, hasn't he, with Gareth?
But Alvin Kamara is now back and fit and playing.
Yeah, maybe.
And Gareth's from Liverpool as well, mate. So you know anything goes up there.
Well, I'll reveal what I've tried to do in the last 2 days for this weekend. Right, and now I can't remember the absolute details. But firstly, I've been negotiating with Wags before this weekend. I was like, I want Damien Harris. I'm going to try and trade for him. And I was like, look, I'm ready to negotiate with whatever. Like, I've got a couple of players I think you could be doing with. And he said, sort of, well, I'm struggling running backs as well. But, well, he's not struggling running backs because he's got some good running backs. But he was like, I quite like him. I want to sort of, I said, okay, all right, let's see how this weekend goes. That's cool. No problem. We'll see how it goes. Now he's injured. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to be for a long time. So I still want to plug right in. But then I thought, well, you know what? After this weekend, I was like, I just need drastic change in it all. So then I decided that I would try and. Then I said I'll try and I thought I'd try and go for Kenneth Walker. Seems as now he's like not going to be the number one at the Seahawks, and I gave him quite a reasonable offer. I thought. Now everyone's going to say it's not reasonable because I offered him, you know, wide receivers and like a secondary running back, and then I said,
who?
Right,
We need names. Names.
names. I think initially I offered Garrett Wilson for Damien Harris. No, for Damien Harris. Harris.
Oh, okay. No.
Which I think's a fair one.
I thought you meant Kenneth Walker.
No. For Kenneth Walker, I offered Garrett Wilson and Alex Matteson.
Who are they?
What do you mean, who are they?
Who are they?
Well, anyway.
I just want to put something out here, Fred. Like, I've traded with you before in the league, and
ages ago.
You know, in previous years. But typically, you've been like a knowledgeable guy, like the more knowledgeable than the rest of us. And I've kind of come to realise that you talk a real good trade game. Like, you'll have this lovely conversation. You'll be like, yeah, but you know, you're looking for this. I'm looking for that. And you'll like get them all cozy, like give them a little cuddle. And you'll like offer this, or maybe you could do with this, that, and that. And you know exactly what little target you're going for. And then sometimes it just snaps. And all of a sudden, because you used to be the trade rape king as well. And you've been accused of it a few times before.
But I've been better of recent. Now I'm just trying. So then I tried to go for Kenneth Walker, and I put better people on the line to try and get him. Then I did put a shit trade out for DK Metcalf to Trev, and it was one where I went. But I have said it every time that I've done it. I've gone like, I've offered you something. If you don't want it, tell me what you want, and we can negotiate a little bit, and I can give it to and fro. And then I tried to trade with Johnny for Josh Jacobs.
Johnny won't trade. I don't think Johnny's ever done a trade in the league.
Well, I was going for Josh Jacobs, and he was like, yeah, but I've got both indie running backs, and they're both out. I was like, yeah, but it's Jonathan Taylor. Like, he's going to come back. So then I was like, well, what? I could try for Jonathan Taylor. Like, but no one wants to, like, no one's been responsive. Like, no one's quick enough. Like, I need players for, like, this weekend. Like, I need...
Johnny won't trade with you because didn't you trade rape him years ago? And now Johnny's actually terrified.
I know you've definitely just offered me a fucking trade.
Yes, he has. Live trade again. Let's do it.
Didn't I say to you at the weekend I would maybe take Robert Tonyan off your hands?
You did. Hence why I'm offering him to you.
Right. I don't think this has come up on mine yet.
Okay, so he's just offered me Darrell Henderson and Robert Tonyan for Tyler Boyd and Alex Matteson.
Do you know what? I'm going to go on a limb here.
You know what?
It ain't a bad trade. It ain't a bad trade, Fred.
My only concern...
I am slightly biased because I want to see a live trade happen. But besides that...
Your only concern should be, Fred, is the fact that Tyler Conklin got you...
Your only concern should be that
0 points last week.
Have a great trade.
I did actually also go for Hayden Hurst on the waiver wires, who got picked up by Trent. In fact, the waiver wires pick up this week is Hayden Hurst is being picked up. You picked up Geno Smith, which I also fucking put in for. Tevin Coleman, I got in for Rex Burkhead. Shank got in Evan Engram, and then Ben's just dropped Rashard Penny and brought in Mike Boone.
I want to revise my trade then.
So we've already got 2 comments tonight, and that is from my partner who is in a little league with you, Tinch, and I think Brian's in that as well. She said Tinch can't talk about being shit, so apparently you're not doing very well in that baby league.
Oh, also, I am having the worst season.
Yeah, I'm a bad one. We'll talk about that in a second, but we'll quickly go on to Sam from over in Jacksonville, good friend of the pod. Is this fantasy advice? My football team is awful, and so is my fantasy team. In your advice, how do I stop being so sad?
I'll give you some advice. For one, don't listen to anything we say. Also, I don't know how to not be sad. I wouldn't ask Fred because he's very sad at the moment.
He is very sad.
I wouldn't be sad being a Jags fan at the minute, though.
Oh, no, it's a Jags fan. Like, as a Jags fan, they're not horrendous. I don't know. I've been to Jacksonville. It's actually quite a nice place. But I think the problem is because Jacksonville Jaguars have been so shit for so long, everyone is just really sad all the time. So even when they do good, they don't kind of realise. And ask Johnny. Ask Johnny. He knows all about it. Let's get Johnny on the show and ask him about being a Jags fan.
Just quickly call him now. I give myself to the end of the show to think about this and decide on it, to be honest.
Who says you've got until the end of the show, mate?
Yeah, I might just kick you off, mate. You're not worth it.
Then that'd be it. I am more than likely going to say yes to that. because you're right. I need something at tight. I need a something at tight end. Madison Henderson for me is a straight swap. Tyler Boyd, he's got potential, but I need something. My problem was I don't want a middling running back. I need a big hitter. That's why I went. Don't offer me another trade.
I haven't. I've cancelled it.
Oh, you've cancelled it.
Yeah, it took too long, mate.
Okay, all right. It took too long. Okay. So enough of my sadness. Why are you doing so badly in the baby league, Tinch? What's going on with that? Because you're not doing bad in our league. I mean,
no, not at all.
You beat me this weekend. Just gone. You're 3-2. You're in that middle bit. I mean, the tagline for this podcast was, it does feel like it's getting to that crunch time of winning games where, like, I feel like I could nowhere near win this league at the minute, and yet, like, and then you look at 4-1, 3 teams from 4-1. You're like, well, they're going to run away with it. Well, 3 losses for them, it changes it.
Of course it does. I think my problem in the little league is, again, I've not paid as much attention as I have in the big league. So I did have that first week when Mike Evans was back. He was still on my IR list, on the my reserve list. But the other one, I've had players like Joe Mixon and Aaron Jones, both my running backs, who have just not performed as they should this season so far. Like, they've had a lot of low scoring weeks, and I think I'm 4-1. I'm 1-4 in this league. I've had one win. I think the week before, I scored something like 74. Just none of my players turned up. And I don't think it's a point to poor drafting, because my team's not actually that bad. I've got some decent players, but these players are just not performing as they should. That's what you've seen in our league. Like, some people who've got big name players who are just not pulling it out of the bag some weeks.
And how are you feeling about your team at the minute, Brian? You're 2-3. I mean, have you had many injury bugs? I mean, I looked at your team the other day, and it's some good players on there. I mean, you scored massive over the weekend, didn't you? Some big players came in for you.
Yeah, one player in particular.
Your boy.
Your boy.
Your boy.
Against the Steelers.
Your boy, Gabby D.
Yeah, big Gabs.
Big Gabby D.
Yeah, you know what? My team is good. They're just not good at the moment. That's probably the best way I can describe it. Doesn't help that I haven't had a full game week with both my top 2 wide receivers. Keenan Allen's injured halfway through week 1. Gabe Davis has been injured for 2 weeks. Breece Hall's starting to pick up, which is good. I'm liking that. Adam keeps offering me trades for Breece Hall, which is not going to happen, mate.
I'll give you anything for Breece Hall right now. I'll give you anything.
Adam, it's not happening, so let's just cut that out. You know what? I think I'm picking up slowly. I started off the season really slow, but my scores are picking up every week. So, the only way is up, because I'm out of the playoffs. So, if I get better, I get better. If I get worse, then I'm never playing fantasy football again. That's the way it goes, really. To be honest, Aaron Rodgers, what a fucking waste of time he's been, honestly.
Has he?
Yeah, real bad.
I'm just looking now.
Yeah, 16.8 is.
All right, hang on. If you want to talk about quarterbacks,
yeah, but that's your
Aaron Rodgers,
Matt Stafford, mate. Yeah, that's what you get.
Do you know what? Got excited. He won the Super Bowl, didn't I? And now I got stuck with Matt Stafford and fucking Trevor Lawrence. Hence my Geno pickup. My Geno pickup. Wow, my Geno Smith pickup. Because he's actually looking better than the pair of those.
Yeah.
Well, he's number 6 ranked QB at the minute, according to.
I toyed with him last week, and I was like, nah, he's going to do shit against the Saints. There's no point picking him up. He's just had a lucky streak, and he's bust out some big boy points. So I was like, fuck it, he's mine. I am sure.
Anyone who has their fantasy football questions out there, feel free to comment on any platform we're on, and we'll definitely answer them. I was going to offer on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But I just didn't know what I looked around and I was like, I was trying to figure ways of what players would be beneficial for you, but I just couldn't see anything that you'd say yes to, really, to be honest.
I'm not I'm pretty happy. A bar quarterback, which I've potentially now sorted with the Geno Smith pickup. Like I'm good with my team. I've had some good scoring weeks. Just unfortunately, they were weeks that somebody scored bigger than me. But as a general, my team's fairly solid, I think.
That's what I mean. When I've been trying to fish out these trades, the problem is what's going to get my team better. I need someone big.
Yeah, but what have you got to offer that person?
What have I got to offer? And it's not a whole lot. Like, I know we all laughed about me drafting Courtland Sutton, but it was more laughing about where I was drafting him rather than actually the capability of the player. He's the 13th ranked wide receiver at the minute, but I want to keep hold of him. Nick Chubb's obviously awesome. Like you said about quarterback, I could have easily put Joe Burrow in a trade for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but do I want to lose Joe Burrow? And I've only got Tua on the bench, and Tua is not looking bad. And then would I even guarantee to got Geno Smith? I'd have had to then trade.
Tua's brain is Angel Delight at the moment as well, so chances are Tua's brain is made out of Angel Delight as well.
Yes, it is. Jam sponge.
Well, the problem is with the league this big as well. If you haven't drafted well with your running backs, it's really hard to trade with someone to get a big running back because there's fuck all. There's barely any of them.
You say just running backs.
People aren't going to be willing to get rid of those running backs because there isn't anyone they can replace them with, unless you've looked out completely in the draft and you've picked up 2 sleepers and 1 starting running back.
Well, this was my thing with Wags. I was like, dude, you were stacked at running back. Like, I can give you a fair offer here for someone. Like, I just couldn't get through to it. Like, and I know he can be hard to get hold of, but he was like texting me about it, and like at the minute he's got Damian Harris, Miles Sanders, Michael Carter, Kenneth Walker, and then his wide receivers are Darnell Mooney, Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, Jacoby Myers, Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson. So I did say to him, because I put Garrett Wilson, I think it was just Garrett Wilson straight off Damian Harris. He was like, at first he was like, I can't just trade you like for a wide receiver. I'm stacked at wide receiver. So that's when I was like, all right, well, give me Damian Harris like a low end receiver you've got in, I don't know, Darnell Mooney, and I'll give you a higher end wide receiver and a low end running back, and like do a trade like that. So I don't know. I couldn't get through to him though on it.
Like back to what Bowen said though, with the size of the league, I don't think it's just running backs. Like if you have drafted poorly, or well, not necessarily poorly, but your players aren't performing and you are doing real bad, nobody really wants to, like, because players are so scarce. People don't want to be giving up players. Like no one wants to take your all right player and someone else for one of their really good players, because that could, in this side of the league, have a detrimental effect. You could end up with, losing a really good running back for someone.
That's a big word for you, Tinch.
I fucking was, wasn't it?
That's a big word for you.
Do you think it's
I'm
also
treading carefully here with my dyslexia, but I'm doing all right.
That's why his camera's not on wide angle, because he's actually got a dictionary to the right.
Yeah.
I got a dictionary here and a thesaurus the other side.
That's another big word.
That's another big word. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I just read the word thesaurus out of the dictionary because I didn't know what it was before.
Yeah, we're not going to ask you to spell it, mate. Is that
the first time Tinch thought he saw a thesaurus was on Jurassic Park. That's the second best thing I've said in a podcast this week.
I enjoy it. I'm not even angry about it. I loved it.
No.
Do you think, joking aside, do you think it's just like too early to like be offering these trades? Because like I said, 1 and 4.
Thought you were coming in with a dyslexic question.
I thought we were still on
do you think?
How bad is your dyslexia? No, like obviously, it's 3 people at 4 and 1. Do you think it's too early for them to be like, I can let go of 1 or 2 players because actually still not guaranteed? Well, not guaranteed at all, obviously yet, but then on the flip side of it is when you're 1 and 4 and you're down the bottom, you're like, I need to do something drastic. And this is the first. I'll be honest with you, this is the first season where I've gone, I need to do something drastic here. Like something needs to change because this is just not working for me.
Tinch, you go and working something out.
Tinch is completely paused, so you're gonna have to take care.
Well, I kind of didn't listen to the question, mate, because I was trying to do some maths.
What's your maths? What was the maths?
Because I'm looking at the 3 teams that are 4 and 1, And aside from Wags, who we all know has the best team in this league, the other teams haven't. So Dicko and Trev, they scored 579 and 586.
Yeah.
It's not like with Wags, who scored 720, it's not like they're consistently scoring like 25, 30 points more than everyone else.
Yeah.
They've just, it seems, and they both have, Trev and Dicko have the second and third lowest points against. And they've got mid to slightly high points for. I don't think it's that much of a
gap between the top and the bottom.
It's who you're playing that week.
I mean, I've scored 488, which is the lowest.
Yeah.
Like the next person's Shank is 493. I mean, but there's not that many people on a lot more points. I mean, there's like the top guys are on. Matt's got 720, Johnny 620, Tinch 624. To be fair,
yeah.
But like after this weekend, for example, your points have really bolstered up, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, I hadn't been scoring very well, but it is something that you when you look at your record, you sit there and you go, oh, my team's shit. I need to do this. I need to do that. But it's the first time I've actually looked at the differences in the points for and points against, and it is only Wags who's because he's had like the fourth highest points against as well, but he's just absolutely ruined everybody else in with his points for. It's ridiculous.
I'm keeping my cards close to the chest on this, just to let you know. But someone from our league has finally started to try and negotiate with me.
Is it John?
Sorry?
Is it Johnny? No, Johnny doesn't watch the podcast.
It's somebody in the league, but I can't give out away. I've given what I've offered away. They've already too much away of what I'm trying to do, I suppose. But
tell us.
Yeah, no, we'll guess.
No, because I'm not going to tell you.
Are they married?
I mean, you're not going to tell. Yeah, are they married?
Are they married?
But no, they're not married. No,
not married. Okay.
Are they under 30?
Yes.
Well, it's not me or you.
No, it's not. So it's either Johnny,
Wags,
Matt Kirk.
How old's Gareth?
He's well old, mate.
Gareth's married as well.
He's well old.
Goodness.
Yeah, so it's either Johnny, Wags, or Matt Kirk.
Don't ask the question. Don't ask I know where this is going already.
Is it Matt Kirk?
No.
Does their name?
Question I thought you were going to ask.
Does their name begin with Matt?
No.
Right, so it's Johnny then.
That's the right question to have asked. Is their name Matt?
I knew exactly what you were going for.
I thought you were going to ask.
Satisfaction.
I'm not about that. We're not
going to give you that satisfaction, mate.
No, never.
So
what's the trade about? Tell us about this trade, Fred.
Well, I can't tell you about the trade.
Just tell us about the trade,
mate.
We're all friends,
and you'll collude.
No. How can we collude?
You know what we should do? We should work it out. Let's work out. So Fred needs a running back and a tight end. Let's look at Johnny's and a tight end.
So I thought you said tomato end then. I broke up a little bit. I was like, what the fuck's a tomato end? Anyway, let's have a little look, see, shall we? Johnny.
I'm in negotiations for. You can't get rid of Jacob, which I get. I that was a reach, but he could trade for Jonathan Taylor with me. Now you two need to commit here because I will call this season a null.
Yeah, I've got that power, but yes.
I will. Illusion, it cannot happen. If you two go and swipe in now and try it.
No. I will not attempt any trade with Johnny until you give us the all clear. Actually, not until you give us the all clear, until I see something happen. Because if you just don't give me the all clear till the end of the season, I'm never going to trade with him.
Ever for anybody.
Exactly.
Honestly,
right.
Go on.
On a serious, I'm a man of my word. and I won't
But
collude
Byron's
against you,
not,
Fred.
I can tell.
Well, we know Byron's not a man.
No,
for
no, no,
sure.
no. I'm working it out, mate. I'm working out exactly who's getting who.
All right. But while he's doing that, Fred,
what would you say is a reasonable trade for Jonathan Taylor?
For Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah.
Off your team, probably
from
nothing,
my
mate.
team, from my team to his team.
Let's have a look. Where are you? The back and legs.
It'd be Garrett Wilson and Joe Burrow, I'd say. Both of them.
Garrett Wilson and Joe Burrow, really?
Both of them.
That's
if you were trading with me for Jonathan Taylor, I wouldn't. You know, I'm doing you the favor. You want Jonathan Taylor. If you want him, you've got to give me something that's going to turn my head.
Do you know what? I don't actually disagree with that. I was like, when you said it, I was like, the fuck, that's a huge trade. But no,
that's what people don't. That's my problem with Adam's trades, right? Well, everybody's trades really. They go, oh yeah, well it's fair, fine, but you're the one who's requesting me to give up this player. Yeah. You got to give me something that's going to make me go, yeah, you know, I want that. I don't just want someone who's about the same or slightly gets 2 points more a game. You got to give me something. Otherwise, it's pointless. I might as well just keep what I've got.
See, I'd probably go for. I'd probably give him Garrett Wilson, AJ Dillon.
I think that's probably also.
We've got to remember. You have got to remember.
Yeah.
But names wise, Jonathan Taylor, I have to admit, last year, like crazy fantasy numbers, crazy, wasn't it? And this year he's been injured. He's not performed. He's a bit of a risk. Like you can't. Though the name of the player carries some stock, you have got to look at what the present and also what the future could hold for them.
Yeah, I think that's a fair thing to say. You're not wrong.
Like, and I can imagine. Imagine this is something we don't need to think about, but it is relevant. Dynasty leagues, like we think this is a head scratcher just for having one season and just trying to get a player. Like, what about moving forward? Like, I'm in the Dynasty league I'm in. I've said it for a while now, but I just think everyone's a bit too smart in my league to do it. I'd trade Derrick Henry at this point in a Dynasty league.
Yeah, I think that would
getting towards the end of his career. Looking, if you want a younger wide receiver, you could get probably 2 players for him as well, maybe a pick as well.
Yeah,
you could trade that pick. You can go for 2 younger players maybe and get a running back with that, like a low end running back maybe over Derrick Henry. Like that's a reasonable. That's a reasonable thing, I think. Anyway.
Yeah, my only thing about your Jonathan Taylor thing, about his name carrying weight and the trade like that, but you're saying all this stuff, how he's unreliable, he might not be the best, but why do you still want him?
Because at the minute I've got no one. I've got literally.
I've got to put the question out there. Like
you're right. No, you're all right. Because that's to Byron's point. I don't want to give this player. You've come to me. I know. I was never looking to get rid of this player. Why do you want him? Why do you want him and I don't need him?
Yeah.
Well,
and I think that's the thing with a lot of our trades. Unless it's something that both players need, then. As in players being us, not the actual players.
If I get Jonathan Taylor on my team, he immediately becomes the second best running back on my team, even given his performance already.
Yeah,
you know, that's the difference for me.
But then thinking those 2 players you're going to give to Johnny, are they going to become second, third best players for his team? Like, is that going to be
potentially? I mean, potentially with the players that I would look to trade in. I think. It's difficult because, you know, if Jonathan Taylor next week doesn't get another injury for the rest of the season and scores 25 points a game, you know, you could go like, oh, well, Fred, like, trade rates and whatever like that. But at this
it depends what you gave him, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I suppose so.
Like, we all know the potential for Jonathan Taylor to, you know, stop being injured and score massively. And I think it depends what you're going to give him.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of the trade, whether it's going to be worthwhile. But I also think that's why we get so little trades in our league, because everyone's a bit scared of, but
what if?
The what if is too much a lot of the time, I think, and people don't want to do the trade.
Exactly, and sometimes it's the pivot, it's the moves. Look at Adam last year when he moved for Jamar Chase. We were all like, "Whoa, okay!" Like that doesn't usually happen in this league, and it really won him the league. To be fair, that trade bringing in Jamar Chase. Yeah, he traded in for Jamar Chase. Or did he trade out for Jamar Chase?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I'm sure he traded in. I'm sure he bought him in off somebody and gave up big as well for it.
I think he might have done. But I've slept since then, and I don't actually know.
I can't recall now. Anyway, we should probably talk a little bit of actual fantasy. But so, who we looking at this week and favouring? Who do you think's good for points this week? What players have you got your eye on? Thinking they're going to have a big week?
Well, we've got 2 potentially newish running backs in the league this week. Kenneth Walker obviously is looking to get a big week. Brian Robinson from the Commanders could. Well, it was his first week last week after he gets shot in the leg or something.
I thought it was the abdomen.
No, it was the leg.
I'm sure it was the leg, wasn't it?
Leg. 3 times, I think it was.
Yeah, I mean, last week was meant to be his kind of hello week, so I think he's had a little break in. He could potentially be a big player this week, which is dog shit for me, and I don't need that. But he could be really good this week because I do like Antonio Gibson, and he's like my flex most weeks. So if he loses a starting job to him, it's not good. But if he's not being picked up in your league, go and get him because he could be potentially quite a weapon in the Commanders.
And he got 2.2 against Tennessee, but first game back after being shot, you'll give him.
After shot the leg. Did he have that many snaps?
Cut him.
I'm not sure. Cut him. Just cut him.
Just cut him. He's gone. Did he have many snaps?
He doesn't. I don't know his full stat line. Let me have a look.
Yeah, 9 attempted.
9 attempts, 22 yards. Yeah,
22 yards. Yeah,
really, is it?
For an entire game, it's pretty slow. So they've just kind of brought him in a little bit. I think he could be quite good if he starts to, if he gets a bit of a good run, then they might start looking at putting him in a lot more plays. But he was good pre-season. Not pre-season, sorry, out of college. He looked very good, didn't he?
Byron, do you think the Bills-Chiefs game, do you think players there? Do you think, rely on Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs and Travis Kelce and players like that in this game?
You've got to keep your eye on those 3. However, I'm going to go with a little sleeper for this week, and that is Isaiah McKenzie. And I'll tell you for why. The man has got fucking speed, mate. He is incredibly quick, and especially given how the Chiefs played against the Bills last year, they played a lot of aggressive man defense. And he's basically like Tyreek Hill, but sort of 0.3 of a second slower and slightly not as good at catching the ball. However, the Chiefs' defense isn't that great this season, or last season. I think, especially with the Chiefs' defensive line, they're going to bring in a lot of pressure. Those short little dump offs into the slot for McKenzie, I think he's going to get you big yardage and 1, if not 2 touchdowns. I think if Isaiah McKenzie is free, whack him in your flex, mate, because we love him for a jet sweep as well.
God, I'm a jet sweep.
I, as a Steeler fan, if anyone's got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, anyone who can catch a ball, go for them. Go for him. Because Minka Fitzpatrick can't control that whole backfield. It is proven.
He's the only man up there, isn't it?
It was exactly my worry at the start of the year was our cornerbacks and our secondary, and it just got totally exposed against the Bills. And now I would say, like, the Bills are beating everyone. They're beating the brakes off of most people. And it just was highlighted so much more against the Steelers, I thought, than any other game.
Yeah.
I don't want to agree with you because I don't want to upset you, but
yeah. No, I know that. I've made my peace with it.
Yeah, but then at the same time, like I say, that was the first week that we had Gabe Davis fully fit since week 1 as well. That does help you. He stretches the offense. Khalil Shakir came in as well. How the NFL let us get him in the 5th round, I will never know. The NFL is corrupt, mate, for the Bills, and I fucking love it. How they let us get Khalil Shakir in the 5th round. Yeah, it's fine. Fine by me. Give us a ring, and I'll let it happen all day long. I don't care. But yeah, no, you can't. It's like me playing at a free safety for the Steelers last weekend. You know, you're gonna look good against me. You're gonna look good against me, no matter who you are.
Okay, back to Brian Robinson. Adam has actively put Brian Robinson in his starting lineup this week. I've just had a little look.
I just had a look as well. Any players or teams you watching out for this weekend, Tinch, who are going to get the big points?
Apart from what I already said, I think I'm not seeing any massive breakout players again this week. Really, apart from, like I say, Brian Robinson potentially could have a pretty big week, and your boy Kenneth at the Seahawks with his running back and his new position. I think they're your two big ones to potentially pick up.
Any players you wouldn't touch with a barge pole? As soon as I've just gone on to the NFL Fantasy, I've seen Trev starting Matt Ryan against Jags, and I'm like, I don't think I would.
I wouldn't at all. That's a bad move, that is. But we can't argue with Trev because he is sat at number 1 at the moment.
Somehow,
we don't know, but there might be something going on here. Trev might have some inner wisdom. He is the oldest guy in the league, so he could have some inner wisdom.
Yeah.
How many years are between the youngest person in the league and the oldest person in the league?
You mean me and Trev?
Yeah, Byron and Trev.
Me and Trev. How old's Trev?
I don't offend him.
Hang on.
Maybe, but...
Let me find the Facebook. I'm getting on Facebook.
I'm going to go 43 years. No. 48 years. I'm completely guessing how old Trev is.
Trev was born in 1955. So you do the maths.
45 years. 45 years.
You weren't far off then.
No.
You've completely forgot on our last podcast you were on, Byron, last week to ask you a ridiculous question, didn't you?
Oh, that's only for the fantasy show.
Yeah, no, I didn't ask it last night.
No, on the week before, the one that you were on, not last week, but the week before. Did you?
No, I asked that question.
Which question did you go for?
Who is most likely to take a shit in your toilet and it not be
that
able
was
to
it.
And just walk out?
Yeah, and just boss it up.
On your fantasy team, right?
Yeah,
on your team.
Have you got a question for us this week?
Of course, I have a question for you this week. Of course, I do. Let me just get the team up. This one is for you guys to decide between Tinch's players. It's Tinch's turn.
It's my week.
Tinch's turn. And we have to create a little backstory for this one, right?
Oh, go on.
Well, not really a backstory, but, use your imagination. Right, your parents are divorced, right?
Oh, wait. I'm involved.
Yeah, your parents are divorced. Your parents are divorced. Your mum's pushing 60. She's 58 years old, right?
Oh, mum's not that old. She's 50.
No, it's imagination. It's the imagination. Your mum's 58 years old. You walk home. You walk into your house. Who would you least like to see cuddling up to your mother on the sofa on Tinch's fantasy team?
So easy. So easy this one is. Wait, cuddling up to Tinch's mum or our mum second?
Your own mother.
Okay.
Don't make it about all my mum. I'll do it about my mum. You do it about yours.
This one's easy for me.
Wait, on your team? Are we just going on my team?
No, I'm going off of your team.
Yeah, it's just your team.
Just on my team. Okay.
Yeah, who would you least likely? Who would you least like to see?
Can I say the entire 49ers defense? Because I do not want that. Just all of them like that.
Yeah, Mama Tinch.
I'm not going any further with that image.
In the bukkake. Mama Tinch in the bukkake. We're a family-friendly show. Family-friendly show.
Family-friendly show, so let's just talk about it.
Mine was Trevor Lawrence. Like, that would be the worst one, clearly.
Why? He's
not
nice
Zach Milton,
guy.
mate. They might have been drafted. Might have been about the same age.
He's got long hair. Like, not like
he's a nice guy.
Nicest guy in football, some may say.
Yeah, that's right.
Me and Byron agreed at the game it's Saquon Barkley. He's taking it already.
Yeah, we did. Who else did we say? Because who else was it? there was someone else that I said I think is the nicest guy in football. It was another running back who's never been in trouble for any reason.
Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones.
Yeah. You never hear about him getting into trouble. Watch us not have seen a big sexual harassment case.
I was going to say, speaking of nice guys who don't get into trouble, Devontae Adams just fucking cameraman.
Yeah, I know, man. What happened with that?
I saw something on Twitter earlier, a different angle where he's walking into the tunnel, and this guy just literally appears, and it almost looks like Devontae Adams is like, shit, try not to walk into it, but actually kind of floors him.
But then you see the other angle. Then you see the other angle where he pushes him like that and just stands over him for a second and then walks on.
Yeah, it looks well obvious. But then he came back out like a minute later, apologised to the guys. So everyone was like, "Oh, Devontae's a nice guy." Apologised. I was like, "Yeah, but he just floored a cameraman." Like, I don't know. He's been charged with something. I think it popped up earlier because it's still. Yeah, Raiders receiver Devontae Adams was charged with a misdemeanor assault in Kansas City.
On the Raiders on a bye this week anyway.
We are on a bye this week, yeah. So
very well timed push.
Well, I had a look, and the fine is from $250 to something like $30,000, or 180 days in jail, or both. So I don't, depending on what you get, maybe the
quite extreme.
Depending on what the sentence is, the bye week might not be long enough.
Does that just depend on how hard you push the person?
I don't know.
Like, if you just give a little.
You need to answer the question.
What I was trying to work out is if 180 days, would it be possible for me to trade for him and still be relevant on my team at some point in the season? It would not, probably.
You do the best. The question. Do you know what? It's a hard one because I don't think I'd like to see anyone come up to him. But I'm going to pick Robert Woods purely based on his little enigmatic smile on his NFL fantasy page picture. And he just looks like you'd walk in and you'd be cuddling your mum and he'd just give you that little smile and you'd be like, you're a prick, ain't you, mate? You're a prick. You fuck off out my house. But it's not my house because it's my mum's house.
Well, there we go. Tinch. Robert Woods, if you're watching this, drop us a message on Twitter.
Drop us a message, mate, and please don't
meet Tinch's mum.
No,
if you're watching this, Robert Woods,
we'll get a signed photo of her sent to you.
Yeah,
amazing. Byron, who's your player though? Who are you picking off my team?
Well, I've never done that before. I've never done that before. I always ask the question. I've never answered. The question.
No, I'm. Give me a little flip.
Flipping the script in.
Right, guys.
Who do you think of my team?
Tag fantasy show.
You don't have the authority.
This is my segment, mate. We need a little intro for it.
Yeah, but you can't wrap up the entire podcast.
No, you know what? I'm going to go.
Don't say the entire 49ers defense.
No, I'm going to go.
Upsetting.
I'm going to go with Zach Ertz, right?
No, Zach Ertz like a national treasure.
He's like a big cuddle.
Yeah, and he's a big bloke. I imagine he's slightly well endowed.
He's gone that way.
If my mother has to sleep with any, cuddle up on the sofa with any of them, you know, I'd rather she enjoy herself. So yeah, I'm going with Zach. Yeah, Zach Ertz.
His wife is like a multiple World Cup winning star. So if she's there, she's brought the World Cup.
Wait, I thought it was who you'd least like to see cuddle up with your mum.
Yeah, well, I still hate it, mate. He's a big.
Yeah, but you've just gone the completely other way and said, "Oh, I hope it was a nice time." So I'm going to pick
that was flipping the script completely.
No, I would least like him to sleep with my mum because he's massive. But I've just tried to justify it in my head, so that's the reason why.
On that note, this bit shows is fucking ridiculous. Thank you for watching the franchise. Thanks.
That's
end the show, mate. End the show.
Look, thanks for watching the fantasy. I can't do it either. Byron, your turn.
This has been the franchise tag fantasy podcast. Thanks for watching.
I've got to sign off. Do it.
I can't end the broadcast. Goodbye, everybody.
I was waiting for how long to.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for watching Franchise Tag Fantasy Show. We'll be back next week with actually some fantasy talk rather than this drivel. Enjoy your week and hope you will win at the weekend on your fantasy teams. Have a good week.